$13.2 billion is government money. Whether spent by this government or not is government money, and government is a continuum. What we are saying is that we expected that this government will call into questioning these characters, these financial scavengers and economic cankerworms who stole this 13.2 billion. They are roaming the streets. Some of them are governors today. Some of them are living as free men. Are you now saying that the government cannot put a check on those who stole this money? Are you now asking the masses of this country to now subsidize the international jet-setting lifestyle of this of government appointees and characters?
Which one should have been priority for you if you were in government?
Yes.
To begin to look back at those who stole what, or put a stop to that,
my brother,
and begin on the fresh template that will then guarantee
$13.2 billion is enough to ameliorate and palliate the problem of the power sector.
And
I'm saying that if you can get this money, if you can get this money back from these people and plunk it back to the power sector. Now, the government is not a Father Christmas. Some people are stealing this money.
The period you spend looking for who stole what so that you know what to get from who.
Yes.
And when.
Agreed.
Wasn't that what the Yar'Adua government did when they first came in? Instead of looking at what has happened speedily, that these things had not been properly put on proper template, put a stop to it and resume afresh. The government wastes 2 solid years without doing anything other than to look back at what had happened for 8 years.
Let me tell you, let me tell you this in clear terms. Let me tell you this in clear terms. The government programs and policy implementation in the power sector or implementation of the roadmap has nothing to do with the fight against corruption. It is not the minister or the president that is going to fight this corruption. Well, we expect the president to refer this matter to the necessary appropriate anti-graft agencies so that these characters can be invited and sue and taken to court for... But today they are free men and government is not doing anything about it. And the two can actually go pari passu. But I'm even faulting the sincerity of purpose of heart and commitment of government. Like I've said earlier, that the infrastructural constraints is far more an impediment to investors than the issue of tariff. Tariff is just one out of several matrices that an investor will want to see. For example, if you allow me, give me 2 minutes to go through the details why we are saying that government is not sincere and this cannot work. It's another mirage, it's another drama, it's another pain they are trying to inflict on the masses of this country. If you look at, like for example now, government will, for every $1 invested in generation, government needs $2 investment in transmission and upgrade. That has not been done. If you look at the gas, today, there's gas deficiency.
You need to explain what you mean by when you make a point like that. You know,
what I'm explaining, what I mean is, for every $1 that government will invest in generation of electricity, government will need twice that amount
to get it to the consumer.
To get transmission.
To get it to the consumer.
And upgrade to the consumer. So what I'm saying in essence is that investment in transmission and upgrade is greater than investment in generation of power. Then, secondly, for all the plants to be operational, you will need gas to evacuate generated power. And NNPC released officially that from now till 2016, government will have a shortfall. That's ceteris paribus, all things being equal, all infrastructural work put in place. Government will have a deficiency of 40% in the supply of gas to the nation. And this...
Did they explain why? Is it that the gas has dried up?
It's infrastructural problem.
In the West?
It's infrastructural problem. Infrastructural problems.
How? The pipes have not been laid or what?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Most of the contracts awarded for gas pipelines have not been done. You see the same issue of corruption. And if government have said that they will only be able to produce 60% of the needs for gas in this country from now till 2016, and this 60% that will be produced, Mr. Benga, include cooking gas, include industrial gas, and every other form of gas we are using in this country, then it is still part out of this 60 that you expect that the plants will benefit from. So if already there's a deficiency of gas supply, then why now talking about servicing plants? Government issued out 48 licenses
But there are also investments in hydro.
No, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. And I will tell you that it's not workable. I'm coming to that if you give me the time. Basically, if you are now saying that there's no gas available, which the Minister of Power confessed also, that there's shortage of the supply of gas. And if already you don't have gas, and there's a deficiency in the supply of gas, and you are now saying that you have issued out 48 licenses to people to build their plants, I want to ask, out of the 48 licenses issued out, how many plants are functioning today? I can tell you none. How many of them are producing even 1 megawatt of electricity? None.
Yeah,
and those licenses issued,
because they are still going on.
Those licenses, how long have they been issued? Those licenses,
this government is just 1 year
licenses will still be moribund.
This government is just a year old.
I'm coming. You don't need 20 years for licenses were issued even before. Some licenses were issued even before this government came in. And these licenses will end up like the licenses issued out for the building of refineries. Today, you have issued out 48. None of those 48 have taken up operation or produce any or generate any form of electricity. And now, you are now saying that to woo more investors, when those who have been given licenses already have not performed, you are now saying to woo more investors, the best thing you can do is to increase tariff.
No, is to appropriately price the product.
I'm going to tell you that it's not appropriate. I'm coming to that. And we're going to go look at the figures. Because basically, you are now saying in excess that the grand corruption in this sector is far more detrimental to investors' confidence than the issue of low pricing. Then if you look at the issue of the subsidy that in the electricity for we're talking about, the subsidized electricity for the poor must first be funded before it becomes a reality, and there's no money for that on ground. I can bet you there's no money for that on ground. Then if you now look at the components why governments want to increase, there are 3 issues. 1, the cost of production was considered. 2, return on investment and return of investment. And since there is no new plants that has taken up of generating power in this country today, we resort back to the old plants. Kainji is over 40 years old. Egbin is over 30 years old. And already there's return on investment on these plants. The capital investment on these plants is 0 because of the number of years they have lived and all that. And today, they are now saying it's one of the indices. I don't know if you understand my postulation. It's one of the indices for increasing the tariff on plants that have become moribund and obsolete, that there's no return of capital on. And there's no return.
It's unfortunate that Dr. Amadi...
I'll be back anytime. I'll be back anytime. I'll be back anytime.
Because I know that there are so many things going on. They talk about captive power and all of that.
I'll come to that.
Okay.
I can explain that. Yeah. One of the cardinal reasons why they're increasing this power is, I told you that it's 3. 2 out of these 3 already have been paid for. That is return on and off investment. Already has been paid for. Because these plants already have, I mean, there's return on investment on them already.
Yeah, but we are talking of those and the reason, even the existing plans, where even the ones we are talking about are not enough. We are talking of a nation whose electricity need is between 80,000 and 100,000 megawatts. And we are talking of 3,000 megawatts. And even if all of these existing plants function at optimum capacity,
there's shortage.
There will still be
but we're now saying that.
So continuously we need to attract investment. But
we're now saying that to attract investment into that sector, there are infrastructural ameliorations that must be made.
Okay.
And I'm not saying in essence that even if, which is not possible, even if all these plants today generate 10,000 megawatts, how do you evacuate the power?
Which is why there's also investment in transmission.
And let me tell you the investment in transmission.
Yes.
Like Roxin was given a contract for the transmission of power in the South-South.
Those were
I'm coming. It's still ongoing. Roxin is still there. It's government money. As I speak to you, they are still talking to Roxin. And Roxin collected money that, the contract sum paid to Roxin is a far cry from performance. If you go to that place now, there's nothing happening. And this is a company that got the biggest chunk of the transmission contract, especially concentrated in the South-South. The contract has failed. Performance has failed. I don't understand. There's no prosecution. And today, even if you cancel that contract, government do not have money to re-award that contract. And yet, you are increasing tariff when the transmission contract has failed, as far as I'm concerned. And it cannot be completed on schedule. I personally visited the site, and I can tell you nothing is happening there. So, if that is the case, why are you now deceiving Nigerians? Why are you now telling Nigerians that Nigerians should pay for a service they're not going to get? How are you sure? We want to see these plants generated. And even today, if you generate power, if today let's even agree that all these plants come up and they're operating and we can generate 10,000 megawatts, how do you evacuate or transmit such powers? One, there's no gas to transmit it.